What's going on, everybody? We are live. Thank you guys so much for watching the video or the live stream. Do me a favor before we go any further. I need you to do something for me. Can you do me a favor? Hit that like button right now. I would greatly appreciate it. It allows for YouTube to know that this is a video worth sharing out, helps with the algorithm, helps the channel and this video, and it doesn't cost you anything. So please do me that favor. Hit the like button right now. I will not be long because I have to get to church. And if you notice, usually I go live about 7 or 8 o'clock. Tonight, I'm going live at 6 p.m. Eastern because I got to go to church. Yeah, I go to church. Pastor's having a meeting with a couple of the leaders in the church and asked me to be there, me and my wife. So we are going to a meeting tonight. It has to do with the youth ministry. So I needed to go live a little earlier because I don't want to go live later because I need to go in tomorrow. This is one of the things that people don't expect from teachers. I'm going into work tomorrow on my own dime for free to start setting up my classroom. I am not getting paid for the work I'm doing tomorrow. Yes. So, with that being said, I need to go live now. I have to be at work tomorrow early, and then there's a district event that I was asked to be at. What's going on, Smoke and Talk? Glad you are here. Some good decaf coffee, because you know I don't drink caffeinated coffee anymore. One of the worst news a doctor told me. One of the worst news. But I need to stay as healthy as I can. I'm going to be around here as long as I could. Grandma Joe's in the building. What? What's going on, sis? Glad you were here. Glad you were here. Now, tonight's topic. You see the title. You see the thumbnail. And I got a video to show you. This is going to be triggering to those brothers out there in the red pill. Now, Jonathan Del Rio is here too. What? What? See, you going in tomorrow too. See, this is the thing that they don't tell teachers, that most of the work that you're going to be doing is non-paid. We don't get paid for a lot of the work that we do. But I'm going in tomorrow to set up the classroom. So we're going to be in our classrooms tomorrow. So shout out to my brother, Jonathan Del Rio. I'm still waiting on him and his family to do a YouTube channel. All right. They have a beautiful family. I'm still waiting on it. So hopefully soon. You know what? Here's what you guys can do for me. Go to Jonathan Del Rio's YouTube channel and just subscribe to his channel. Let's motivate the brother to start a channel. He has a lot of motivating things he can share with all of us here. Okay. So as you guys know, I have a like-hate relationship with the red pill community. And I say like-hate because I don't really love the red pill community. However, I do see why it exists. I see that it is an answer to the overcorrection of female dominance in society, or the devaluing the female dominance in society, while at the same time devaluing men in society. So I see why they created this community, at least here on social media and YouTube. But I think the practice, I think how they're going about it isn't necessarily helpful. And what they're doing for the most part is capitalizing off the trauma of young men who have had negative experiences with women in their life to sort of fuel that hate and fill their pockets. That doesn't happen here on this channel. I understand that for a lot of men, they don't get respect. They are devalued. They are disrespected by women just for trying to start a conversation. So I get it. But there are certain things that we really need to be honest with, and that's within ourselves, right? Instead of always pointing the finger at women and saying women are the problem, we really got to self-reflect and think inwardly, like, how are we contributing to the problem? You guys have told me that in conversations that I had with you guys privately, that the red pill is the truth. They share truth and they share facts. And they might, certain facts. It may not necessarily be the full truth, but it certainly is some facts that they share. So I won't argue with you there. But what they tend to do is cite numbers and statistics and tell you things like, 75% of women initiate divorce. So they say that that's a problem, which I agree. It's a problem. What they don't do is speak to you about the variables involved in that. So it's as if to say that every woman in that 75% who initiate divorce all got divorced for the same reasons. So when you share numbers without the things that go into creating those numbers, you can create any narrative you want, including women are the problem, which is a false narrative, as if they are the only problems. Yes, they may contribute to how families have been broken, but they aren't the only factor. They're not the only factor. Sometimes, men, we contribute in large part to the demise of the relationship that we once wanted. But instead of us being reflective and introspective about it, just adjust this light. Instead of us doing that, we want to point the fingers at other people and lack accountability, which a lot of the red pill talking points or red pillers out there, one of their talking points is that women lack accountability. So on this channel, I especially encourage men to be accountable for their actions. I'll ask you a question. Yeah, there we go. Men, have you been absolutely perfect to your women? Have you been 100% faithful to the women? Do you show up for your women? Have you ever given them reason to leave you or be disrespectful to you? Have you? Question that you got to ask yourself. I think you oversimplify the red pill community. There's more to it than just responding to toxic feminism. 100%, I agree. But for this for this specific topic, for what we're talking about today, I'm only sticking to that, and I'm going to explain why. Because if I can go into this forever, right? Have a whole 3-4 hour, 3-4 day long stream about this. But for the sake of this conversation, this talking point, I want to stick to that, compartmentalize that point. So we have to be able to think about what is it that we contributed, or what did we do to contribute to either how women look at us as a whole, or think more individually about it. How did I contribute to the demise of the relationship? Husbands, what did we do to encourage our wife to initiate divorce? We want the women to do that, so we got to be able to do that also, right? Oh, that's loud. Is that loud? Wow, it's loud. Or maybe just loud for me. Okay. I was watching a video and I wanted to share it with you guys. And I thought this young man made some great points, self-reflective, and thought about how he contributed to the demise of a relationship that he valued very much, at least in his heart, but not within his actions. Let me just play the video. Here we go.
Like, I remember I was dating this woman one time, and she was so captivating, so amazing, so refreshing. I had nothing to compare her to, honestly. And I guess she saw something in me that the rest didn't, you know. And my family loved it too, and I was proud to be with her. But one day, my mom pulled me to the side. She said, "Yo, Alex, that's gonna be the kind of woman that's gonna break your heart and leave you if you don't get it right. You know, if you don't get on your shit." And at the time, I didn't want to hear nothing about no damn accountability and shit like that.
Danger.
Sorry, there's some slight expletives, so please hide your wives, hide your kids. Okay, just please, thank you.
Danger.
So, you know, it was what it was. But what I learned in that process was if you take care of things, they last. But I want to be the truth for the men who think like this, because once a woman caught a glimpse of what her life would look like without you, man, she gonna break free. You know, especially when you ain't do nothing to bring her pain, trauma. You know, especially when you just been giving her your worst behavior. Especially when you just been lying and manipulating and cheating, right? But eventually, she got to plan a life for her. She gonna start moving in the direction of self-love and self-care and leaving you behind in the process. So sometimes women, they just hold on to you because they invested way too much, right? And so for me, in my case, she didn't want to be alone, but she saw how beautiful the view was from the window, and then she closed that window and decided to free herself. So for me, she was always gonna feel insecure, full of doubt, lonely, bitter, no peace, and she was gonna feel all that with the wrong person, and I was that wrong person. Love, God.
Self-reflective, right? A couple of things he said in there that was actually really deep, really deep. What's going on, Chelsea? Glad you're here, sis. Appreciate you, right? Uh, he understood that. There's something he said that I like, right? He said, "What you take care of will last. What you take care of will last. What you value, what you invest in, what you pour into, what you care for will last." And I think that's a good statement, but it's not always true. That you may be in a situation, man, young man, who is caring for the person that they want to be with, but she may not really be into you. So, okay, I understand that. You could be working a job and putting all your efforts in that job. The truth is, they really don't care about you. They just care about the bottom line and what you can bring to the business. But when you find a good woman, when you've vetted her and you found a good woman and she's proven herself to you and she chose to be with you, just like you chose to be with her, caring for her will help that relationship last. But some of us will find ourselves in a situation where we was able to get the woman that we never thought we can get. Like the woman that we thought was out of our league. And then we finally get her. You know what we do? You know what we do? We mess it up by not pouring into the relationship, by not caring for her. And then we get mad when she leaves, when she should have left. She should have. You weren't pouring into her. You weren't caring for her. Why should she stay? Why should she stay? And then what we tend to do is align ourselves with people who give us the talking points that we want to hear. That doesn't help us become accountable for our actions and make changes so that this doesn't happen again. We put the blame on the woman for leaving us. Not all the time, but in some cases. This is why I say you need to self-reflect. And I think this is one of those things that I don't hear a lot of red pill men and women, because there's women in this space too. I don't hear them talking about that. I don't hear them talking about how you can keep or what you need to do to keep a good woman. They'll put you up on game on how to, get women, but not necessarily quality women. They tell you you need to vet a woman, but then they really don't tell you how to vet her to find out if she's going to be a good companion and wife to you and a mother to your kids. They tell you things that aren't really always beneficial to bringing a man and a woman together and staying together. They won't tell you things like self-reflect, like this young man did in the video, to see how you contributed to the end of the relationship. They tell you that the woman should have stayed. She should have never divorced you. Now, I'm not a proponent for divorce. I don't support divorce despite being a divorcee. I am pro-marriage. I'm pro-family. But even in that, we all have to self-reflect. Ex-wife left, I had to self-reflect and think, what did I do to contribute to that to that situation? And try not to bring that into future relationships. It's called reflection. Something that all men should be able to do, should be willing to do in order to grow. We learn, we live, we learn, and we adjust. All right, so that things don't happen. We don't fall into the same mistakes. And in the book I wrote, I called it monkeying around. Okay, I saw a video years ago of a man setting up a trap for a monkey. He cut a little small like hole in a bark of a tree, right? A little small hole, and he put like something like a piece of fruit in the hole. And what happens is a monkey will come in and put his hand in the bark to grab the item, but the monkey can't get the arm out because he has his fist balled. Now, all the monkey has to do is release it and let his hand out and run away. But he is so, like, he doesn't think, so he's going to keep his hand closed And instead of letting it go, he's going to allow himself to get caught. Okay. Another monkey watched what happened to that monkey. You know what that monkey did? The very same thing. The very same thing. Sometimes we refuse to learn the lessons from people that have failed in their situations, or we refuse to learn lessons in areas that we failed at. The other day, I was doing a live stream, and we talked about um, people learning. No, I was in a live stream chatting, and they were talking about people. The best experience is one that you, uh, the best teacher is experience, right? And I don't necessarily agree with that 100%. What's going on, Tia Lynn? Glad you are here. I don't agree with that 100%. I think if we have the guidance of older men teaching us how to do things and how they failed, I think that's one of the best ways to learn, because yes, we can learn from experience, but why do we have to? Why do we have to? We should be able to learn from other people's experiences. And say, and I gave this example, right? Uh, I growing up, I did do some marijuana, right? I smoked weed, and not. And it's been years. It's not since 1997. Haven't done it in years, and I won't ever do it again. But even as a teenager, I would see people who were addicted to drugs, like hard drugs, and I didn't have to put a vial with a rock inside of it and smoke it to realize this is not a good idea. Watching them in the condition they were in taught me all I needed to know about not using that. Seeing a husband fail miserably in their marriage and learning what he did to break up the marriage is all we need to know. All we need to know. Now, experience can help us, but also learning from other people can save us from trauma. Trauma that we tend to exploit today. Trauma is one of those hot buzzwords today. Trauma this and trauma that. Save yourself from the trauma and learn from people's experiences. Or learn from your experiences so that you don't put trauma on yourself in the future. Finally, The Rock. Excuse me. Greetings, Brother Dre, Sister Chelsea, and everyone in the chat. Hope all is well with you. Hope all is well with you too, my brother. Glad you're here, Cheapers. And it's one of the things that I don't ever hear, or I hear very little of, when it comes to men in the red pill space. The self-accountability, the self-reflection when things don't go right, at least in a relationship aspect. It seems that they teach that men could do whatever they want, treat women however they want, and women just have to be acceptable to it. They have to just accept it and move on with their life. No, they don't. They're cognitive beings who can think, who can feel, and make decisions on their own. And many women will forgive once, forgive again and again and again and again. But eventually, what they're going to do is get tired of it, and they're going to leave. Red pill will tell you to move on to the next. Manhood would tell you to think about what you did and make adjustments so that it doesn't happen again. Oh, I accidentally pressed the button. That's what men do. What's going on, Gracious Greatness from across the pond? Thank you so much for sponsoring yesterday's live stream. Greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching it and you made it this far, please hit the like button. Greatly appreciate your support. It costs you nothing. Hit the like button and it helps us out in the YouTube algorithm. So this is one of those things that the red pill won't tell you. You can have a successful relationship if you do the work. Not just expecting the women to do all the work, but if you put in the work yourself. You put in the work yourself. One thing I've realized in my experience, this is completely anecdotal, but I have a vast experience with this. One thing I've realized is that when it comes to relationships, Most, and I can say this, I don't usually use the word most. I'll go many, but I'm going to say most women are extremely resilient and they are willing to forgive a lot of men's shortcomings. But everybody has a breaking point. Everybody has a breaking point. This is not exclusive to women. Men and women both want to feel valued. And there are things that we as men can do in order for the women in our lives to feel valued. As this fly, as the weather is like changing, I'm getting like flies in the house. I don't know if you guys see it, but it's like little flies. Like it's just annoying. I just want to. True story. Driving with my wife today in the car, picking up pavers, and I killed a fly. And she was like, "This is way off topic." She was like, well, "How can you kill a fly like that with no remorse?" But 3 years ago when you had that mouse in the house, you have to catch it and release it. Like, how do you do that? Like, yeah, you're right. I don't know, man. And then it dawned on me, like, I don't see the purpose of insects. I don't. But they're still God's creatures, right? We kill it with no remorse. I don't know. I can't kill a mouse, but I can kill a fly. Either way, beyond the point. So we have to be able to self-reflect and think about how we've contributed to the demise of relationship that we've been in, especially if we loved the woman. What did we do? What did we do to make them feel less valued? What did we do to hurt them? How can we change that? Not necessarily with her, because if the relationship is over, it's over. But going into a new relationship, what can you do to make those changes so that it doesn't happen again? Do you guys ever hear anybody in the red pill space talking like that? And if not, why? Why not? Why is it? Is it because it's simp behavior? It's beta? And I'm doing this because I saw the fly. I don't want the fly doing, kamikaze dives in my coffee. Why? We have a really, as time goes on, as we get more modern, we have a twisted idea of what it means to be a man, be masculine, and be a woman or feminine. Everything is just twisted. It's definitions are being changed, and the lines are being moved. The goalposts is being moved, and I don't know, man. Times are way different. Men used to, think about what they did and try to change. And I'm not saying go back to like the 90s R&B, where most of the songs was about a man cheating and wanting to get his woman back. I'm not saying that. All right. I'm just saying, like, if we mess up, and it doesn't have to be as severe as cheating, but if we mess up, we got to be able to make certain changes. If we know that we're at work way too much, we really got to stop and say, you know what? The amount of time I'm putting in at work is causing my wife to feel unvalued. So maybe I need to make some adjustments. I'm not able to take my kids to the basketball games or football games or whatever. So maybe I need to make some adjustments. Yeah, you got to grind. Yeah, your role and your responsibility is to provide for your family, but not at the expense of your family. Red pill will not teach you this. Now, they could teach you a lot of great things, but this specific thing, rarely, if ever, do they get into. And if they do, it's more like the women need to get on your page and accept all the nonsense that you're doing. Everything is being remixed or redefined. Everything. Yes. Even this, like, I'm pretty sure people could find a lot of faults in what I'm saying now as far as being a man, but it's all good. I don't really mind. Like, I'm in a position where I have to teach 3 young men how to be a man. Because truth be told, when men behave like men, it's way better for society. when they are the protectors, the providers, the leaders, society flourishes. Crying out loud, right? Paul was telling the men in the Corinthian church to act like men and do everything they do in love. You guys look at the Bible and think the Bible is weak because Jesus talked about turning the other cheek. That one little piece people will pull and be like, man, I can't do that, man. Christians are weak because they got to turn the other cheek. You're missing the point of that verse. All throughout the Bible, men were warriors. Warriors. Countless examples. Countless. Even in the New Testament, these men died for their faith. Was brave enough to go into places they knew was hostile to the gospel, and they still went. Men. And Paul is telling men to act like men. Be strong, be courageous, be leaders in your communities. Be leaders in your families. Be leaders in your homes. Part of being a leader is understanding I need to lead. And when I mess up, not just apologize, but make the changes necessary so that your family can flourish. You're not seeking happiness. You're seeking a lifelong relationship with somebody. When you seek happiness, when you don't feel happy anymore, you'll leave. But if you understand that marriage is about the two becoming one, your happiness becomes secondary because the primary focus of the marriage is the relationship. Red pill will teach you to be broken, insecure, hedonistic, irresponsible incel that chases lustful desires, material things, and vain lifestyles. Yes, among other things. Jesus teaches men to be the direct opposite. Yes, he does. He does. I watched the video, and this is another encouragement to men, especially Christian men. Excuse me. I watched a video of a young lady who was married to a Black Israelite, and she was addressing how her husband and the other Black men, that they're around, are real men. They encourage each other to be men, to be faithful, and all that stuff. And I think we need to start doing that. I think the red pill would definitely be more of an asset to men if they was teaching that also. They tell men, yeah, man, you don't want to be messing with no 304s, but then tell men that they have to have a minimum of 50 partners before they get married. It's terribly inconsistent. Now, we are called to be consistent. And my encouragement to the men out there is to be self-reflective and make adjustments necessary so that you don't find yourself in a situation where you are perpetually failing in relationships. Red pill will teach you what you need to do to get a woman's attention and maybe get a woman, but they haven't really taught you much on how to keep a woman. Many women will deal with your nonsense because they want to get married. But when they get married and you're not acting like their husband, or she's not acting like your wife, both of you guys are going to want to leave that marriage. And the wedding was for naught. As I said before, if you're going to listen to the red pill talking points, please, by all means, I'm not going to tell you not to. But find some alternatives to it. Align yourself with men who have successful marriages, that have gone through the trenches, that have been beaten up, broken, made the adjustments, and are now living in a situation where they are in a successful marriage with a woman who respects them. I don't agree with everything this content creator says, but R.C. Blakes is a decent example as well. He's an older man. I think at times he can do some pandering to women, but he speaks to men as well. There are other content creators out there. I talked about Mr. Jason Wilson the other day. There's so many other content creators you guys can listen to that would enhance your position on what it means to be a man far greater than just listening to people from the Red Pill community. I don't recommend listening to them. I'm just not going to tell you not to listen to them. You're a grown man. You can do whatever you want. But it's time that we start acting like men. We complain about modern women. When men start acting like men, modern women will follow. They have no choice but to. Right now, we're following after them, chasing them, leaving our quote unquote masculine frame in order to follow them. But when men start behaving like men and acting like men, everybody else in society tends to fall in line. So I don't have any much else to say tonight. And I can't even take phone calls because I got to go to church. We got a meeting. But my encouragement to you guys tonight is, men, act like men. Don't be afraid. Act like men. Be self-reflective. Think about your actions and how they may have hurt your situation and your relationships, and make changes. That's what men do. That's what we should do, at least. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this live stream. If you watched the replay, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And if you made it this far and have not liked the video, what are you waiting for? Smash that like button right now. It helps us out. It's free, no charge to you, and it lets YouTube know that it's a video worth sharing out. And if you have, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, subscribing will make you part of the Harrison Extended family. That's our community here. So hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. It'll let you know when I upload new videos, or when I go live like I'm doing right now. And if you would like to support the channel, there's a couple of ways. If you give a super chat to the show, to the live stream, you'll be sponsoring the live stream for that specific day. So if you are a super chatter, you are the show sponsor for that day. We appreciate those. We also appreciate super thanks. So if you ever like the replay, you want to give us a super thanks, we greatly appreciate that. You can also give monthly by going to patreon.com/Harrison Family Values, or hitting the membership button down below and picking any one of the inexpensive tiers to help support this channel monthly. Okay, comes with some perks, but yeah, consider supporting the channel monthly. But here's my favorite way to support the channel: by buying merch. Unlike the other way, she's not just giving free money. You're buying something and getting something in return. So we have amazing merch that you can look down below: shirts, t-shirts, mugs. We have a few items, accessories, all that stuff, and purchasing them will help support the channel. They have scriptures, some sayings, some funny ones as well. So doing that will help support the channel as well, and you get something in return. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. Please, it's time for men to rise up to be men. That's all I want to see. That's all I want to encourage. And I think that once we do that, society will have to fall in line. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching tonight's live stream. I greatly appreciate it. And until the next upload or live stream, I'm out. Peace.